I suspect the umpires can still hear back there. You can't see anything, that's for sure.
You can't get ejected from the Hall of Fame thing, can you?
Actually, I'd like to give a shout out to the umpires. They've done a hell of a job this year. You know, a couple of them were inducted in 2020 as in Vision. So I think that's why we did 2020. But they have done a great job. They're good people, and we appreciate everything they do for us. What you may not know is they actually donate umpires to playoff games. So I think they deserve a round of applause also. Even though you can hear me. I'd like to say a few things about our Hall of Fame committee. We've got some great people on there. The Hall of Fame committee consists of 6 presidents. 7 are in the National Hall of Fame. All 11 members are multiple World Series winners and have played in this league over the years. These gentlemen represent the league well, and I just want to give a shout out to the Hall of Fame committee. Also in your program tonight, you'll see that there's also a list of nominees that are eligible and well-qualified people, and that's why they're in there. So I think they deserve a round of applause too. Thanks for putting up with me so far. Frank Smith, Bartuco, will introduce our next inductee.
Thanks, JT. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Before I start, I borrowed these glasses from the umpires.
Frank, you can't hear your mouth.
Well, I can put this away. You guys will be able to hear me much better. I borrowed these glasses from the umpires that I have on. Just put these back. We'll put them back just in case. Before I formally introduce this person by his name, this inductee has always been a week.
Frank, we can't hear nothing. Jim, way up. Hey, Frank, right up to your lips.
Just yell into it.
How's that?
Better.
Everybody? Here, let me get up here a little bit. Okay? We're all good? All right. Myself and this inductee go back a lot of years, about the 1980s. That to me is a long time. And in that time, I always felt he was a very good leadoff hitter, base stealer. In fact, the Baseballism book describes a leadoff hitter as the arsonist of the team, the one who starts the fire. And this person always displayed that type of energy as a leadoff hitter. As a base stealer, always stealing second base, third base. In fact, I think one game we played out in Renfrew, he stole second base so many times, at the end of the game, the cop showed up. I don't know what that was about, but anyway. As a teammate, couldn't be anyone better. I've enjoyed playing with him over the years, and he always, to me, aspired not to be the best on the team, but rather the best for the team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sacramento MSBL Hall of Fame inductee, Phil Gunter.
Well, my memory is not the best, so I had to bring notes up here. But I'd like to thank Frank for giving me that great introduction, and I'd like to thank JT for all the years I've known and played with JT too, since too far back to remember, actually. We go back a long ways with a lot of teams. And I got a list really of people that I really want to thank. I'd like to thank everybody, and I will at the end, but I tried to single out a few that I really appreciate and what they've done for me. But before I start with that, I better thank my wife, Terry. We have a 45th wedding anniversary coming up here in a couple of months. Thank you, sweetie. And my daughters, Amber and Jill, are over there. And my granddaughters, Gianna and Brady. And my son-in-laws, Travis and Clinton. Thank you. Okay. Dave Sutherland was a great influence for me. He got me on the free agents way back in the day, and I played a lot of years for Dave and loved playing for Dave, and still get to play with him occasionally with the Solons. And when he left, Tim Burkett was kind enough to take me back too. So I've known Tim and Jane for years and years and years. And a good friend of mine, Dave Harden, who was a Hall of Famer from last year. I'd like to thank Dave for always being my buddy and always being around when I have baseball questions or anything. He's always great with that. And Robert Johnson, Mike O'Donnell, and Bob Branson are also teammates and great guys that I want to have a shout out for. Rick Salmeri is my manager on the Yankees, and he's a great manager. Great to play for. I've enjoyed playing with the Yankees. Had a rough time this year, but there's always next year. John Mason, I played on some teams with John back in the early 2000s on the Night League. And special thanks for Lanny and Irv Scott and Tina for letting me play with the Solons. Really, really had a great time. We got to win it all back in Florida in 2017.
And you may as well mention you were the MVP.
I wasn't going to mention that. We were all MVPs. That was a great team. That was a lot of fun. It was an extra inning game, lasted 4 hours, went on, but we prevailed. That was one of the highlights of my baseball career. And I'd like to thank Dennis Smith also. Dennis has been a good friend of mine for a long time. Always enjoyed playing with Dennis, learn a lot from him. And the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me. I really, really am honored and humbled with the selection. So thank you very much for that. It's kind of been a rough year. I hope to come back next year and try and be a little more myself. I wasn't really much myself this year. I had some health issues this year. The friendships that I've made in this league, I can't tell you how much they mean. This has been playing with the greatest group of guys, and I mean that as everybody I've played with and against, because you're all great. And I've always learned something from everybody that I've played with, and I've always had a great time playing with everybody. And I'd like to do my final, well, one of my final thank yous. I got Jeff Hetherington that I really want to bring up, because Coach Jeff with the Solons is someone you can always learn a lot from, constantly, always. I play with him on the Yankees also, and Jeff is always giving us tips, and he's doing it in a positive way. Even when you make a mistake, he can come over in a positive way and tell you what you did wrong, how you can improve. I've learned a lot from Jeff over the years, and Jeff's still teaching everybody that plays with him. Great guy. And I guess the final group I'd like to thank, because we wouldn't be able to play if we didn't have them, is the umpires. So thank you to the umpires this league. They do a great job. And we appreciate you being out there. And anyone I've missed, I'll include you in the group thanks, because you've all made this wonderful for me. So in conclusion, I'd just like to say, I'll see you on the field. Thank you.